Arcturian group message via Marilyn Raffaele, April 16, 2023. Welcome dear readers. In spite of outer appearances, a great deal of clarity continues to unfold in the minds and hearts of many. Everyday ordinary people living ordinary lives are waking up to the fact that the world is much more than what they were taught and have believed. Incoming high-frequency light energies are guiding those receptive toward honest and ego-less examinations of personal and universally accepted world beliefs. This in turn is allowing them for the first time to recognize that much of what the world has taken for granted as true and right, is not. As increasingly more individuals awaken to a consciousness of oneness, the universal collective automatically begins to resonate at a higher level, which in turn then allows those receptive to more easily access ideas of truth. Increasingly more people are beginning to recognize the error underlying rules, laws, teachings, etc. that are based in separation and have ruled world consciousness for eons. This is causing panic to those who thrive and have benefited from concepts of separation, causing them to increasingly promote activities and information that cause fear. Belief in separation from God, people, animals, plants, and all seen and unseen life is a state of hypnotism. Earth is a spiritual universe peopled with sons and daughters of God, but when interpreted through minds conditioned with beliefs of duality, two powers, and separation, it manifests experiences of good and evil, both of which represent concepts. Earth is the perfect expression of a divine idea in the mind of God, just as every individual is, but when Earth is interpreted through three-dimensional consciousness, it is seen and experienced by most through a state of universal illusion. Often an evolved student of truth comfortable in their spirituality finds everything changing and nothing feels the same. Tried and true techniques for centering no longer seem to work. Guides do not seem to be responding as readily. Mediation may feel different, empty. Familiar spiritual practices are recognized as being based in separation, and the clearing of old energy seems to have become one's primary spiritual practice. This is not failure, but rather indicates graduation to a new state of consciousness, one no longer in alignment with what previously worked so well. Spiritual evolution is a journey through many lifetimes and states of consciousness that usually begin with idolatry, then atheism, then to organized religions of both East and West, then to metaphysics, and finally to mysticism, each lasting a few or many lifetimes. Metaphysics is a facet of almost every spiritual journey, but like those that came before, it is based in the need to fix, heal, or change a bad picture into a good one, in the belief that you are separate and must do a certain chant, carry this or that crystal, use this oil, or engage in some ceremony in order to become closer to God. These things cannot give you what you seek because they are outside of you. They can and do assist because their energy can resonate with and awaken these same energies already present within you. Many students of truth get stuck in the metaphysical phase of awakening because the techniques often work and provide a sense of spiritual completion. There comes a point at which all serious seekers of truth must leave behind those practices believed necessary for contacting God and actually accept the reality of oneness. Many study and understand that the real self, soul, is God consciousness individualized, but their ego self convinces them to set this information aside in the belief that living truth was and is okay for saints but is impractical and unattainable for everyday folks. Many of you are spiritually prepared to move into and live the mystical level, which is not as a monk in a robe meditating 24/7, but rather is living an ordinary life from the consciousness of oneness. It can be done, many have done it, and many others are now practicing. One of the reasons you wanted to be on Earth at this time is that the high-frequency energies present as part of Earth's ascension process offer an opportunity for individuals to spiritually ascend while remaining in physical body. Many of you have attained a state of consciousness prepared to move beyond ego and allow the divine consciousness you know you are to live its life in, as, and through you. It is letting go of continually attempting to fix, change, heal, clear, or remove personal or global appearances through a state of consciousness that realizes anything requiring fixing or healing is not reality, God ordained or sustained, but is rather a manifestation of the belief in separation from God. It is having the courage to surrender into what you already are, and allowing it to be your supplier, guide, protector, and teacher. You cannot and will never hear the ever-present still small voice within you if you are plugged into media, technology, or outer activity 24/7. Ego, that sense of self that feels separate from God, will always be there to tell you what to do, when, and how to do it in a voice that overrides the silent voice within. This is why it is important to have quiet time, mediation each day until it becomes your state of consciousness regardless of where you are, or what you are doing. Spiritual evolution is a process. It is not easy to shift from the familiar guidance of ego, to listening and trusting within. You have lived as a human experiencing both good and bad through hundreds of lifetimes in which the ego was a necessary component of survival. Ego served well in earlier states of awareness and continues to serve today on Earth, but the three-dimensional ego continually seeks to be the primary force guiding and keeping you well through solutions, ideas, spiritual practices etc. that worked well in earlier states of consciousness. Spiritual evolution can be delayed, ignored, denied, and resisted but never stopped because reality is one God expressing itself as infinite form and variety. Period. Nothing else is. You who have worked hard, studied, practiced, and sought God through practices, beliefs, and religions over lifetimes have evolved and are now ready to move into mysticism, the realization and acceptance of your oneness, that you are divine consciousness individualized. Begin to listen for the still small voice within rather than constantly questioning and seeking outside of yourself. Your guides are always present to assist, but seeking their input in every situation rather than doing your own spiritual work is actually a form of looking outside of self. You have done the work and are ready to trust, rest in, and rely on the reality of your own divine consciousness, your higher self, the you that has never left oneness and already embodies infinite knowledge, harmony, abundance, protection, creativity, peace, health, etc. Because God is the only reality, nothing in the physical realm holds power in and of itself. Words spoken or actions taken do not in and of themselves just happen. An arm by itself cannot just suddenly punch or pet. Everything is governed by consciousness because consciousness is all that is. We are not telling you to throw out your medication, stop eating, or attempt to live absolute truth before you have attained that state of consciousness, because doing so would be nothing more than an ego activity. We are saying that many of you are ready, more than ready, to begin practicing and living from the level of truth you have sought and attained, while detaching from the tools you gave power to religions, traditions, rites and rituals, laws, societal beliefs etc. etc. Living oneness is not ignoring, resisting, or denying appearances, but rather is, yes, I see you, feel you, acknowledge you, and like or don't like you, but I know that God is omnipresent, therefore can only manifest itself, relegating appearances of duality, separation, and two powers as being nothing more than manifestations of collective and personal beliefs in separation. Then go about doing what needs to be done. You have done the work and eventually this truth becomes your state of consciousness. Begin to seriously, yes, seriously believe, act, and live from your highest level of awareness, because like it or not, you are and always have been divine consciousness individualized. We are the Arcturian group,